I know you guys love the Casual Geographic, so I wanted to watch their one about the capybara. Because I love capybaras. They're so cute. They're like ginormous guinea pigs that, like, do not have a care in the world. Yeah. So this is called The Science Behind the Unproblematic Nature of the Capybara.
Hold on, I made this joke already.
How you doing? Fantastic. I hope you have a good day. Hope you have a better week.
Jesus, they're so big. When they stand, it's even more weird.
It's full of successful days and a lot of great ventures. I hope you just come up, brother. You smell great. You smell great.
Oh, the capybara. One of the most memeable animals to be added to Earth's roster.
They're
Almost
so cute.
entirely for their sheer positivity. And it's not like that fake positivity from animals like dolphins or performative activists on TikTok. Capybaras are legitimately unproblematic, almost too much for their own good.
They are like nature's largest guinea pig that gives no fucks whatsoever.
Thing is, they have no reason to be like
happy
this. In
cappy.
fact, they have every excuse to be the exact 180. But first, let's talk about what this aquatic stress ball is. It's a rodent, and pretty much a plus-size guinea pig since that's their closest relative, even though they're like 60 times heavier. Also, guinea pigs are one of the few mammals that can get folded by deep water since they can't swim, which is something cappies know nothing about since half their personality stays in the water with them. Just like
That's
their cousins,
so weird,
the nutria.
because like they look just like guinea pigs, but like they look like oversized guinea pigs, but unlike guinea pigs, they can like be in water like without issue.
Which is basically just a beaver you've never heard of. And the pacarana, who's probably most famous for getting abused with soap like a banned Old Spice ad. But out of all rodents, capybara are the heaviest and the ones closest to the weight class of a grown man. And considering how people feel about their cousins 100 times smaller, you would think the capybara would be the most hated oxygen sink on the planet. But the only thing more ironic than the fact that it's the complete opposite is the fact that this chunky chinchilla is so chill, since history shows they should really be the polar opposite. Usually when something's this unbothered, it's because they've never felt any kind of pressure from predators.
I love the stories of animals like this because it's like, it's not, they only ended up this way because they were not like able to be predators for anything else. So they just have all the chill, even though they're technically prey animals. Like they never had to fight to survive. So they're just pretty happy and content. You know, they don't have a care in the world. They're like nature's hippies.
Quokkas on Rottnest Island have no fear of humans since
like
they have no
quokkas.
natural predators. Capybara, on the other hand, have more ops than a rapper with a RICO charge. These gigagerbils have to avoid being discharged from the population by the biggest big cat in North America, a discount store brand crocodile, and a paraplegic Jurassic understudy. Their childhood isn't any easier.
Oh, so they really do have a lot of natural predator animals. I thought maybe they didn't. I thought they were like the quokka.
Juveniles can get caught up with ocelots, a paralysis demon with wings, and technically pelicans don't count.
This one makes me laugh because I've heard that birds will try to eat them repeatedly, but the capybaras are never really bothered because they're just like, it's just that dumb bird trying to eat me again. He can't though. I'm too big. I'm too dummy thick for him to be able to do that.
But it's not for a lack of trying. And normally an
Like,
animal
they're
that has
trying
to
their
share an
best.
area code with this many threats to its way of life compensates by becoming a problem itself. For example, if zebras had a stripe for everything with the ability to bury them, they wouldn't have a single pixel of pale on them. And we all know those TV static stallions ride that excuse like they get tax breaks from it.
Oof.
It just makes more sense for a prey animal to be more willing to throw down. Predators get active to eat. Prey animals fight to live. But what doesn't make sense is a capybara doing the mannequin challenge 7 years late when there's a homicidal vice grip out looking for calories. It's kind of like honey badgers and capybaras are two ends of the nihilism spectrum. You got
I see. Yeah, I could see them being like polar opposites to them. Oh, that's funny.
For calories. It's kind of like honey badgers and capybaras are two ends.
It's like this is Satan and this is this is God himself.
Of the nihilism spectrum. You got the four-legged assault Oreo who doesn't value anyone's life, not even its own. And then there's a hippo hamster who can't be physically
Hippo hamster. I don't care if this is photoshopped, it's still in character. It really is though.
bothered enough to care. And you would think this mentality would have gotten a Cappy written out of the series of Life by Evolution. Or maybe they have the opposite of the kangaroo situation. The kangaroo situation is that kangaroos used to have to deal with some of the most cartoonishly absurd predators the world had ever seen. Stuff like a 23-foot Komodo dragon or the marsupial lion Thylacria.
Bro, that looks like a weasel mixed with a hyena. Wait, so does that mean that, have kangaroos been around for a really long time? I didn't realize that either.
That prehistoric PTSD means that even though kangaroos today have to deal with 0 apex land predators, they still act like they're in the trenches. So it's possible capybaras had few natural predators coming up, and now they're Helen Keller to all forms of conflict. Believe it or not, capybaras weren't always the brolic beavers we know them as. Their ancestors were actually small rodents that evolved from...
Oh my god! These are cavies, but they're roughly the same size the capybara's ancestor would have been. Oh, okay, so they were a lot smaller.
Africa about 80 million years ago. Being small was lit because 1, it's a whole lot easier to hide, and number 2, eventually you get so small that putting you on a plane isn't worth the energy it would take to catch you. And when their ancestors pulled up to South America 40 million years later, they showed up to an area with few natural predators and plenty of food in the forms of the grasses they like to eat. Scientists now say that it was the lack of predatory pressure that allowed this plus-size rabbit pig to grow to the size it is today. That, and apparently capybaras have a special form of insulin that's actually better at getting cells to divide and grow. In non-AP biology terms,
special form of insulin? That's crazy. Also, I would have thought it was the opposite, right? Because I feel like, unironically, what keeps them from having predators to this day, like, more so, right, would probably be because they're so big. I mean, but I'm not a nature expert, all right? But it seems like this is part of their survival tactic that benefits them as being bigger. Which is funny because they only evolved to be this big because they had no predators, not the other way around. Because I guarantee you, if this thing was the size of a chicken nugget, it'd get taken out more often. I just have a feeling, you know?
Because I never took that class. This meant
the pelican would at least, you know, get a W sometimes.
Cappies were able to exceed their weight limits without also increasing their chances of getting clapped by cancer. But of course, nature always catches up, and it wasn't like the capybara was tanky enough to disregard danger like manatees are. And in the messed up Uno reverse, becoming a literal Mighty Mouse meant the capybara was now much more attractive to predators than it would have been if it would have stayed the same size pre-bulk. So it's pretty much like cappies today have to pay for how good their ancestors had it. Like Gen Z. It's also possible that the capybara isn't as easygoing as memes wants you to think it is. They live in groups, and each group has a dominant alpha male who gets the most food and female validation.
Well, I'm sure when they're like, you know, trying to survive for their life, that they're not, you know, they're trying to survive. Of course, they're not going to be as chill as the ones in the zoo that get like blow-dried and fed oranges are.
Which can lead to a lot of infighting in the Cappy clan. And no matter how hard the alpha male tries to flex, there's always going to be a few subordinates that get it in behind his back with his women. So even though the dominant alpha male lays more pipe than any single subordinate, a majority of the plumbing actually comes from the subordinates as a whole. The females also get a say in the matter too, mostly because if a female ain't feeling a certain male, she dubs him by nosediving into the nearest body of water, where she can hold her breath for up to 5 minutes.
Are you? That is so funny, man. They take rejection to a whole other level. Like, they make an entire, like, poetic...
As a whole. The females also get a say in the matter, too. Mostly because if a female ain't feeling a certain male...
Like, swiping left, or what is it? Swiping left or right? I don't even remember. The rejection is, like, swan diving into the river.
Into the nearest body of water, where she can hold her breath for up to 5 minutes. There's actually a lot of drama in the Cappy community.
Bro, she holds her breath underwater, and it's like, is he gone yet? Basically poetic Titanic theme rejection, exactly.
If you pay attention long enough. It's definitely not like bonobos, who seem to have all social structure figured out, albeit for R-rated, definitely not safe for work reasons. That still doesn't explain why capybaras are so chill around animals not even in the same species. Like take Cheesecake, for example. Cheesecake was a capybara who was rescued and sent to live in a refuge for neglected and abused animals. But since
Cheesecake is the perfect capybara name.
she was only a baby at the time, she spent a lot of time living with the sanctuary's founder alongside her many dogs. And in typical Cappy fashion, Cheesecake became one of the dogs, eating, sleeping, playing, and pretty much doing everything else in between with them. Eventually, she would be promoted to the de facto foster mom for any abandoned puppies coming through the sanctuary. She would regularly adopt a family of abandoned puppies and raise them like her own blood. She would even discipline her pups if they ever got too out of line. Cheesecake was basically a Mother Teresa for terriers and any other orphan pups. Those weren't the only animals she adopted in her time, but there's actually a really good reason why capybaras are the best rodents to leave your children with, and why they're the polar opposite of Chucky Cheese. Something about that.
Oh God! Okay, we gotta skip this part. I'm actually very scared of Chucky from Chucky Cheese. Weirdly enough, okay. You guys don't know that. Leave me alone. Usually animatronics only mildly get me. Like FNAF is kind of scary, but for some reason, like the freaking robotic rat like really does me in.
called Alo Parenting, where the adults take turns watching over the babies in a group in this kind of like revolving daycare system. They'll even go as far as nursing pups that aren't even theirs. Pray for bro on the left, he going through some stuff none of us can comprehend right now. The benefit is that in a jungle full of EDP-sized threats to minors, this actually increases the Cappy pup's chances at actually surviving long enough to celebrate their birthday. But it also
so
means
cute.
that Cheesecake wasn't just a stepmother, she was the mother that stepped up. Also, I just want to say that the same sanctuary would end up getting another capybara named Cobbler, and now Cheesecake and Cobbler are
Cheesecake and Cobbler, this is great.
homies, and I feel like we should just take some time to appreciate that. Another thing to appreciate is that plenty of other animals like monkeys or painted dogs do the whole Alo Parenting thing, but cabbies are the only rodents that do it. Well, actually, technically not really. Turns out red squirrels will adopt orphans as long as they're somewhat closely enough related to them. But that's not the same as having a built-in nursery system in the group. So
I was gonna say, I feel like squirrels are sometimes dumb though, is like, you know, is it legitimately they're adopting them or they're just not very aware of like, you know, whose kids are where or theirs?
it seems that being naturally social, being as swole as they are, and having literal stepmother
That's a
software in their system is what makes this
chonky
He-Man
cabbie.
hamster what it is. Capybaras got so much clout that even though they're truly native to South America, they have a pretty sizable fan base all over, but especially in Japan. Why Japan? Well, it all started in the Izu Shaboten Zoo in 1982. A worker was cleaning out an enclosure with hot water when he turned around and realized that all the capybara were huddled around a warm puddle that had formed. The worker said bet, or whatever the equivalent in Japanese would be, and ever since the Izu Shaboten Zoo would create these traditional hot yuzu baths for the
Oh, so this is where that kind of like meme and like, you know, videos of them came from, like always being in like warm hot springs with the oranges.
water-loving hippo hamsters to enjoy, which is the entire backstory as to how this video exists. And because whatever capybara received they give back tenfold, these videos going viral single-handedly brought in thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of yen in revenue, all from people wanting to see them. Meaning it is scientifically proven, 100% non-refutable, that capybaras are good for the economy. If your country's currently in a recession, think to the last time you saw a capybara hot tub party. If you can't remember, then I think you found your problem. We don't need stimulus.
Yeah, obviously, if your nation's not doing well, we need these as the mascot, okay?
We need more happy cabbies per capita. That's
Yeah,
why
we
there
need more happy cappies per capita, exactly.
are entire websites dedicated to finding the closest capybara in your area. So if I ever post a picture of me and a capybara with no context, this is the context. Capybaras are such an unlimited serotonin hack that naturally people are gonna ask if they're good pets. And my answer is, yeah, they'd probably be good pets. Question is, would you be a good owner? Here's why you probably wouldn't. One is
I was gonna say, I do kind of wonder how these haven't gotten domesticated, but we do have like guinea pigs. I don't know if cappies are technically their predecessors though. But yes, I can't say if you haven't had a guinea pig, like, okay, I'm probably biased. Guinea pigs make great pets.
that they poop. A lot. They kind of have the panda problem where they eat things that don't give them a whole lot back, so to compensate they eat a whole lot more of it, which means they seem to drop deuces at will. You might not get to notice just how much because capybara also take part in coprophagia, which in NICE 2023 YouTube
Yep, that means they eat their own poop. So do guinea pigs. I think bunnies do too.
guidelines terms means to eat food twice to get all the nutrients out of it. And if you can handle watching this infinite food glitch in action, there's the fact that you have to feed them in the first place. Remember, we're talking about a gerbil that can weigh as much as you, but you're not just feeding one cappy.
That's a
Since
big
they're
fella.
social animals that don't do well alone, you'd have to adopt a buddy for him or even another one after that. Cause two's company, but three's a party. And no
Yeah. So a lot of these animals, like guinea pigs are the same too. You always want to have like two of them. They are always happier with cage mates.
self-respecting cappy would hop out at the after party with an entourage of one. All jokes aside, that same logic is why Switzerland
Yeah, they go as a party. You don't get one cappy, you get many cappy. For maximum happy.
considers a guinea pig a victim of abuse if it has to live alone. It's really not that different for a guinea pig. Guinea pig. I should have used that from the beginning. There's also the fact that since half their life involves water, you're gonna have to have 24-hour access to anything the capybara can at least wade in. And before you say bathtub, just remember that most of their backdoor business happens while they're in the water, so you might want to rethink that. But the best reason why you might
They're
want
gonna
to
be pooping in the bathtub.
hold off on adopting a walking coconut.
A
It's still a
walking
wild
coconut.
animal. Don't let the memes get it twisted.
guinea
Despite
pig.
all the hype, they're still very much capable of inflicting violence when they want to, or when they feel like they need to. And
I was gonna say, like, just imagine a guinea pig being big, right? Like, guinea pigs are kind of dumb, and like, I don't know, if you like give them a handful of lettuce, and like they'll accidentally bite your finger because they didn't notice what was your finger and what was the lettuce. So, like, they'll hurt you without meaning it if they're, like, 3 times that size. Like, look at this guy's teeth.
To say it. It's real cute until you get it mad and you realize you now have a 150-pound rodent with an overbite coming at you. In fact, in 2005,
It's still an animal, you know what I mean?
a capybara in a Japanese zoo murked a spider monkey that was standing in its pool by grabbing it by the neck. So if you're considering adopting a biting, pooping, eating machine, you might be better off just having kids, because only one of them can give you tax credits. Or you can just move to Tigre, Argentina, because the South American city has been taken over. And when I say taken over, I mean that in the most passive way possible.
God.
With fires and an unusually cold winter killing their food supply, the Cappy clan seen the spawn en masse inside the Argentinian gated community. They quite literally pulled up. The upside? Free lawn control. The downside is these deer rabbits marrying the problems of the 2 animals in one package.
Just go to Argentina. Apparently, they just exist en masse over there hanging around.
Destroy gardens and leave behind Hershey kisses, while also becoming a danger to everyone on the road. There have also been reports of capybara running fades with pet dogs.
Oh, he barked at the wrong potato.
Although to be fair, the dogs probably started it. But there is another bright side if you want to look at it that way. The biggest threat to a capybara isn't a jaguar or a caiman. It's actually humans who have historically hunted them for their meat and for their hide to turn into leather. We're their biggest op by far, and if they decide to take back what's theirs, I'm not gonna be mad at it. And the fact that they're doing it to a gated, rich community, there's a moral in there somewhere. But that's gonna do it for this video. For more consistent uploads, be sure to check out my TikTok and Instagram. I try to post daily on both. And if you'd like to support this channel beyond subscribing, also consider becoming a patron on Patreon. But like, only do it if you can afford it, because honestly, you watching a video this far is actually more than I can really ask for. Got a whole lot of video ideas I want to get out for the new year, so as always, drink water, hug your mother, dap up your father if he's not into the whole hugging thing. Try to be a cappy in a world full of cappers. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
Very cute. Oh man, they're all waiting to cross the road. Go, go, go! Cappy crossing, Cappy crossing. Here they come, here they come. They're on the way. Cappy crossing, Cappy crossing. Look out, here come the fellas. The potatoes, they are crossing the road. Just to get to the other side. Yeah, they're so cute. I really love capybaras. They're adorable. Another great video, yeah. We stand cappies in this house.